Hello, is this Frank from Homenest Realty? I'm ready to sell the house on Central Avenue. Just make sure the funds are transferred to my account within 3 days. The person on the other end of the call was ecstatic. That house had been my home with Carl for 40 years. It was my dowry. All these years, no matter how hard things got, I never once thought about selling it. But now, across the plaza, 3 familiar figures stepped back into the concert hall. To the world, they looked like the perfect family. A husband, a wife and a devoted son attending a symphony together. Strangers might have smiled, murmured something about what a fine young man he must be to accompany his parents like that. But that man was my husband, that young man was my son, and the woman they were protecting in the middle wasn't me. It was my best friend, Jocelyn Pierce. I stood frozen outside the theater, cancer diagnosis clutched in hand. While they laughed about the encore, the moment I spotted Jocelyn and Carl walking out of the concert, I was holding my cancer diagnosis in hand. They were talking about how spectacular the performance was. Meanwhile, I had just found out I was dying. Jocelyn smiled even brighter at Carl's words, though she feigned concern, saying, "Don't say things like that about Iris." Jocelyn said with a half-hearted scold, her voice light, almost playful, "That's not nice, she's your wife, after all." But Carl just scoffed, clearly unbothered. Am I wrong though? Everything I said was true. That woman's only good in the kitchen washing dishes, mopping floors. If I brought her to an event like this, she'd only embarrass me. I stood nearby, silent. My grip on the folded program tightened until the edges bent under my fingers. He'd forgotten everything, forgotten that it was him who chased me, forgotten that before I ever wore his ring, I was a woman with a career, a sharp mind and ambition. It wasn't time or motherhood that dulled me. It was this marriage, this life with him. Then Felix's voice cut through, sharp and careless. "I just don't get it. Why would you even marry someone like her when there were clearly better options?" My heart stuttered. When did my son start looking at me with that much contempt? When did the little boy who used to cling to my legs turn into this stranger? Jocelyn flushed, trying to laugh it off. All right, enough," she said, trying to smooth things over. Good thing she's not here. If she heard this, it would totally be misunderstood. And then, Jocelyn turned, her brows lifted ever so slightly in surprise when she saw me. "Iris, you're here. Were you coming to the concert? I thought Carl said he didn't get you a ticket." She looked almost troubled, the way someone might look if they spotted a stain on an otherwise pristine carpet. I didn't answer. My eyes had fallen to her hand. The ring sparkled under the street lamp, a diamond solitaire, identical to the one I'd found in Carl's briefcase 3 days ago. 40 years ago, we married without rings. Carl made a promise on our wedding night he'd save. He'd surprise me one day. A diamond, when he could afford it. His salary had risen from 40,000 to 400,000. And still, I waited. I had dared to believe the ring in his bag was meant for me, a long overdue gift, perhaps an anniversary surprise. But now I saw the truth. He'd given it to her, carelessly, thoughtlessly, as if it meant nothing. I took a step forward. I wanted a closer look at what I would never have. Carl snapped. He lunged between us, shielding her like some helpless damsel in a bad soap opera. "What do you think you're doing?" he hissed, voice low and tight so Jocelyn wouldn't hear the venom beneath it. "That ring was a gift for Jocelyn. Can you not do this here?" Jocelyn stood behind him, untouched, unbothered, as composed as ever. She didn't flinch, didn't frown, didn't care. She looked like royalty, draped in diamonds and smug silence. And me? I was the madwoman outside the gate, the embarrassing mistake they wanted hidden away. "You promised me," I whispered, my eyes locked on Carl's.